Hello, and welcome to Witchy Woman Podcast. I am your host, DaNae Sweet, and this is episode 103. So today, oh my gosh, this train already. So today we are going to talk with Brandy Burrow, astrologer and psychic medium, about what 2021 has in store for us as far as the planets go. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to get a pen and paper and take some freaking notes, because we are going to talk about some specific dates and you're going to want to know. So I'm not going to yap too much longer. I just want to say thank you for Brandy for coming on and sharing this amazing information with us. I want to shout out to the Coven, and for all the listeners, thank you so much for listening to me for 103 episodes. It just seems weird. Anyway, okay, so let's get to the interview. I know. So, you tell me a little bit of about what you're doing in your business. I know you opened up your books again to clients, so maybe let everybody know that first so they can
Sure. Yeah. So right now, and this is, early January, I'm opened up for astrology readings. I'm taking a little break from tarot and mediumship, but never say never, it'll come back at some point. But I'm doing a lot of astrology classes, so I'm taking the astrology bookings right now.
Yay. Okay, cool.
It's my focus right now.
I don't do any of that, and I've actually been getting people, and I'm like, I don't think her books are open that. And then the other day, I saw that you did. I'm like, okay, I can start pushing people that way.
Please, yeah, I love talking astrology. I would love to do astrology readings, and and so I can do the natal chart readings. If you're like, here's my chart, what does it say? And I can do, I call it question readings, but that's also something you can do if you just want to see how the transits are affecting you. What do I expect in the year? I do both of those right now.
Okay, cool beans. So what do you even start out with how do you want to start your peek into 2021 with astrology?
I know there's so much, but I thought let's do some highlights. Let's talk about the things we're really going to feel this year. Okay. I want to start with Saturn moving into Aquarius. Okay. It moved into Aquarius last year in 2020 briefly, but then it went retrograde and went right back to Capricorn. So, Saturn in Aquarius is always very interesting for U.S. history. Oh, yeah. So we can go back the last three transits. So last year when it popped into Aquarius, you had the George Floyd situation and protests. Mm-hmm. Okay, because Aquarius energy is very humanitarian. It's about the social stuff. It's about social, I like to say it always affects social justice in our country. Yeah. Okay. So when it popped in, we had that. If you go back to the transit before that in 1991, you had the Rodney King brutality and riots. Okay. And then if you even go back before that, when it was in Aquarius in 1962 to 64, you had the Civil Rights Act. Okay. Gosh. So this, with it going back into Aquarius, I think we're going to see more of that this year. Okay. I'm hoping, it's always so hard because I feel like it, there's always good that comes from bad, but usually a really horrible event has to happen to ignite it. Right. That's where I'm a little nervous. Same. Because I know that storming our Capitol probably wasn't the worst thing that'll happen this year, which is kind of scary. I don't think so either. And what's interesting that day on January 6th, I was looking at that a couple days ahead of time and I was nervous, but I was hoping I was just being dramatic. It turns out I wasn't. No. Mars was hitting 29 degrees of Aries that day. Oh God. Which is the final degree of Aries. Aries is a home sign of, Mars. And 29 degrees is always dramatic. It's always intense. It's I got to finish my work before I go into the next sign. Mm-hmm. And then it was squaring Pluto. So it's of course, there was going to be anger and violence and a shit show. Yeah. So that's kind of what we had going on that day. But now Mars is in Taurus. So we'll see. But now we have the Saturn in Aquarius and it's squaring Uranus and Taurus. Okay. So we have Saturn squaring Uranus. Okay. And this is something everyone's going to feel. Some more than others, depending on how it hits your chart.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, for instance, Saturn in Aquarius hits my 10th house. And as you're seeing, I'm making changes right now on what bookings I'm taking and this kind of thing. So that's kind of an example of how it affects you individually. But
Cool.
yeah, basically tension, some shakeups. Saturn traditionally rules Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the traditional rulership. So Saturn's working really well this year. And when I say Saturn works well, that can be kind of, Saturn's not always fun.
No, not at all. For those that are having like their Saturn return at this moment, is that going to be worse or better for them?
A Saturn return is a Saturn return. I don't know if there's any good or bad, better or worse. The first Saturn return around, 27 to 30 is always, you always see a lot come from that. I don't know. In my opinion, it might be a little, I don't want to use the word easier, little less dramatic.
Okay.
When you're around 60, but.
Oh, cool. Right on. Right. I'm writing all this down so I don't forget.
Yeah, take some notes. That way, as we go through the year, we're like, what's going on? But, let's talk about like Aquarius. So since that's where Saturn's at, Aquarius generally rules the 11th house, which is hopes, dreams, your goals and ambitions. It can be the social issues, as we kind of were discussing. It's friendships, it's community.
Mm-hmm.
So generally for everyone, your friendships, you might kind of see who your true friends are this year.
I think, man, if I get any more like peeling back of friends, I'm not gonna have any left. I swear. 2020 was a big one for a lot of like, I know there's a few of us here locally that I'm like, holy crap, like it really did show which friends took all the time without giving, and which friends, were genuinely care about you. And it just sucked. So I can't imagine anymore.
It does suck. That. I know. I think I'm my only friend right now.
That's kind of, and it's partly like, I just went into full hermit mode. The last like 3 months of 2020, I was like, I'm done. I'm just going into hermit mode. And I really didn't talk to anybody.
I did the same. I closed my readings. I had to have my self time. I was like, I just didn't have anything to give. I know that sounds awful.
No, I completely can relate. Like I still don't have my books open to the public. I just read for the coven. I don't have any more.
Yeah. 2020 was, I mean, tough. I mean, that's not even a good enough word, but yeah, we're all kind of healing still. And, but I want to say too, because I don't want to be all doom and gloom.
Right.
Sometimes when Saturn has entered Aquarius, we've had positive things too, because Aquarius is like technology, inventions. In 1932, you had the new the Ford Model B, the first low priced car.
Right. The people's car.
The people's car. You had the internet in the 90s start getting more and more like a normal thing in people's houses. You had the Beatles British invasion in the 60s.
True. Yep.
So there'll be some good things coming from this as well.
Oh, that would be outstanding. Like when I think of like Aquarius, like in that 11th house, it makes me feel good. Like I'm like, oh, is this going to help? Like, will it help individuals? Like not our country, like just taking that out of the picture. Like having Aquarius like in this spot, will that help us in like personally to help manifest our dreams and manifest our hopes? Or is that something?
It'll help align everything so that you can. Okay. It's really going to clean house.
That's what I wondered.
That you can do that. So yes, main answer is yes, but you got some realignment. Basically, Saturn comes in and enforces the rules and says, this hasn't been working. You haven't done anything about it. So I'm going to do it for you.
Okay. So yeah, just cleaning house, moving out blocks. It may not be pleasant.
No, but after I always say it's like the Tower card in tarot. It sucks to go through, but then when you kind of get on the other side and rebuild, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad this happened.
Absolutely. Yep. No, I've experienced that it feels terrible at the time. You feel like you're drowning.
You do. You feel like you're getting your ass kicked. And it's like, And so that's my kind of guidance for everybody this year. Like, just trust what is happening. Trust who is leaving. Trust what is no longer available for you. Trust the new opportunities.
Right. Cool. Trust, trust, trust. That's my, like, I've been trying to learn that. And the universe is like, bitch, trust people. So, so I can't wait to finally learn that lesson so that I don't have to keep having that thrown at me.
Yeah, I hear you. It's hard to trust when it feels like your world's falling apart, but
absolutely. Yep.
But yeah, so that's basically the gist of the whole Saturn thing. So kind of, see what house it's hitting. Personally, I like to use the whole sign house system because I have been in this major studying of Hellenistic astrology, which is like how they did it in ancient times. And they use a whole sign house system. So you find your rising sign. Mine's Taurus. I believe yours is Scorpio, DaNae, if I'm remembering right. So if you're like, if it's 15 degrees Scorpio, the first house would start 0 degree Scorpio and be evenly divided.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm finding it's pretty accurate, but find out where Aquarius lands on your chart, what house.
Okay.
And that's where you're going to see. And then look at where Taurus is at on your chart.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to kind of have both those houses getting realigned together.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. I got to study more. I was like on a roll studying, and then I swear to God, like everything I picked up at the beginning of 2020, I'm like, I'm going to learn astrology and I'm going to learn this and I'm going to learn that. And I would get a little far, and then something would blow up in my personal life, and then it would like knock me off track, and I'd try again. So I never like fully learned anything completely last year that I set out to do. I just learned bits.
Yeah. I think everybody's plans got canceled last year.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's one thing. I'm like, okay, I signed up for these damn classes. I'm gonna actually take them and finish them this year.
Isn't that like so Gemini? Because like, we struggle finishing shit. And I am like the same way. That's my goal this year. I am finishing things.
Yes, that's basically all I don't set goals very much or resolutions because I just break them anyway. But I'm like, this year, I just want to start finishing things. If I can finish this one class I'm on, and not take 5 classes at a time.
Yeah.
That would help.
Yeah, I'm doing that. And then I bought like 13 books on medical astrology because let's just add in something new.
Right.
As well,
why not? We have all this time to ourselves.
Yes. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Okay.
Well, speaking of like the Gemini thing, did we even talk about how these eclipses this year are going to affect Gemini Sages? Are you ready?
Oh, no.
We can go the ignorance is bliss route too.
Oh, no. I want to know. I'm a weird preparer, so I want to know.
It helps to brace yourself. Now, okay. So the eclipses, so they always come in pairs. You get like the lunar eclipse, 2 weeks later, you get a solar eclipse.
Right.
Well, May 26th, which is my birthday. It's hitting right on my birthday.
So man,
I was a little sorry. I read up on it, but yeah. So that's the first one. That's the lunar eclipse. 5 degrees Sagittarius will be the moon. But basically, and then we have another one. I'm looking at my notes. We have this weird one in November 19th. That'll be like a Scorpio Taurus thing. Oh. And then yeah. And then we just recently, let me go backwards, November 30th of 2020, we had the eclipses, the Gemini Sagittarius too. Yeah. So Geminis and Sages. So these eclipses, they bring new beginnings. Sometimes they're really happy, good things. Okay. Sometimes there are those shakeups that pull you out of things.
Oh boy.
Yeah. For instance, one of my best friends in 2019, his birthday is December 26th. He had an eclipse hit right on his birthday. And I was kind of like, oh, I'm a little worried about him.
Yeah.
10 days later, he lost his job that he had for 15 years.
Oh my God.
But silver lining, I mean, it seems like a disaster, right? He ended up going to school and now he's doing what he really wants to do. And it forced him the right direction.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, I'm too old for more beginnings and endings. I just want to
no.
I'm like, can we just have a year?
I'm really scared.
Yeah. I'm like, my little tiny whatever thread of sanity I have left does not need an ending and a beginning, like the first quarter or first half of the year.
I know. I'll take residual. Like just hang out where we.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll have to watch for that one. That was.
Me too. I can't believe it's landing on my birthday. I'm like, oh man, what's gonna? Hopefully, it's a good changes. So
I hope so.
Let's give another positive example. This last November, the 5-degree, it was in Sagittarius, Gemini, like 8 degrees. It still hit my planets.
Right.
My Etsy shop was on fire. Like my sales were huge, and it hit my 2nd and 8th house. So
that helps. Cool.
I'm hoping for a sequel to that this May.
That would be great. I have new things in the works, but I'm so afraid. 2020 gave me planning PTSD. I'm like, do I even do it? Do I not do it? It's given me I can never make a damn decision anyway because Gemini, but this has made it worse. So I'm like, I don't even know if I want to start anything new this year. Maybe I'll just throw caution to the wind. I'm going to do it as soon as the eclipse happens on the 26th.
Be impulsive.
Why not?
Don't plan. Isn't that the lesson? Don't plan. Just get up one day and do it.
Yep, I'm going to have to.
It'll be fun.
So, okay. So that's how does if we break it out into quarters, from here until April, if we had a shit show meter from 1 to 10.
Shit show meter. Okay. Well, let's talk about this. So we talked about the Saturn squaring Uranus. Well, up until do I have my date now? Mid-February, I have to look at the exact date. Jupiter is conjunct Saturn squaring Uranus. So I would think you're going to feel most of that because Jupiter is an amplifier. January, February, a little bit more of a shit show with this aspect, in my opinion.
Yikes.
And of course, we have some Mercury retrogrades.
Oh yeah.
So we have a Mercury retrograde that starts January 30th in the sign of Aquarius. Lots of Aquarius energy this first quarter. Again, that's the friendships. Within friendships, I think this is a big place you're going to see this. So expect petty squabbles.
Oh, crap.
Not feeling real connected.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. And it doesn't help, the current status of everything is not helping that at all anyway.
Yeah. Like you're doing, trying to finish some stuff up. That's my guidance. Keep yourself busy.
Right.
To where you're not noticing it as much.
I'm going to try. That's I'm so bad. So on Black Friday, instead of buying things, I bought so many courses. That's what I plan on keeping myself busy with. It's just,
I think it's perfect because Aquarian's great for learning. It's a very mental, intellectual energy.
Yep.
It's an air sign.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. So this first quarter, you got a little bit of the hangover from 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
At this point, I just don't want any more major historical events. Unless it's a good one, can we just not have a disaster?
Well, for the next couple of years, I don't see how we can escape historical events.
I know. Something has to change. And I guess the way I could look at the astrology of it is if it shakes it up enough, something has to. I mean, it's going to change one way or another.
Social justice, we do need it. But just and of course, okay, so we also got Uranus and Taurus, which has been there. That's a long transit, about 7 years or so. Last time it was there, we had the Great Depression. So I'm thinking this year we're going to see some issues with the economy. So lots of ups and downs.
Oh boy. I kind of thought about that. I mean, a new president coming in is such a polarized situation in the country. I think that's inevitable.
Yeah. You might, if you play the stock market, you might play it safely. Although there's opportunities to make big money with the ups and downs too, if you know what you're doing. I don't, but
it scares the crap out of me to think about playing the stock market because I don't even gamble. It scares, I feel so guilty. So I'm like, I can't imagine playing the stock market. I'd be a mess. Okay. So we have to look.
I don't do that either because, like, you know, I'm in Texas. We have the lottery, and like I can spend $5 on a ticket and be mad if I don't win anything. It's like, it doesn't work for me.
Same. So economy issues is something, and social justice seemed like the two major things that you're talking about. Let me tell my husband to get off the internet. Honey, are you in here? Can you get off the internet? Did you hear what he said? He said, you get off the internet. No.
I didn't hear him. I heard him. I didn't hear what he said. So we're talking astrology. That takes precedence.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, social justice and economy issues to like seem like two big themes so far.
And inventions. I'm curious to see, you know, maybe these inventions will bring like medical breakthroughs. And
I hope so. Maybe this is the year they'll finally cure cancer. Please.
Please.
See the year. That would make everything worth it. It really would.
I'm for that. Yes. Which does give me, and like, not to get controversial here, but it does give me hope with the vaccine.
Yeah.
With the vaccine. Maybe it'll be successful.
Like I have this, I wish it was, I don't want it back to normal because, you know, all this has been happening to change the way we do business, you know, and, you know, in the US and in the world, I would imagine. So I don't want anything to go back to normal. I want it to go back to like that, but better, if that makes sense. Like, I want to be able to do the things, go on a trip, go see my friends and that kind of stuff. But I want it to be in an environment that was better than when this whole thing started.
Like I think it showed us there's different ways we can go about things, like the working from home, you know, and that happened when Saturn dipped in Aquarius last year. It's when everyone started staying home. It went back in Capricorn, and that's when everyone kind of started going back to work, and you see how that works. So yeah, it's about thinking outside the box. How can we do this same thing but differently?
Right. Yep. It's really made me realize what is most important about my day-to-day life. I think like the things I missed. Like I used to be able to go to the coffee shop and hang out and see my friend, and now it's, you know, she works more hours because of the pandemic and less employees, and so I can't really see her very much, and it's just different. It made me realize which friendships I really, really valued too, in that respect, like being able to go hang out. Like I wasn't able to see Taryn for like 3 months because at first we didn't know like how it would affect, you know, I was in a household where someone had to go to work. And so I didn't want to bring anything to her that I had gotten from my husband. So we just was like really playing it safe. And finally we're like, screw this. Like, we'll wear masks, we'll be really careful, but it was starting to like affect for sure, my mental health.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel the same. Some days it was like, oh, I'm just fine. And some days, I mean, it just felt like a low.
Yes. Yeah. It felt like some days I enjoyed the seclusion. I was like, dude, I can use this as an excuse not to go to like the in-laws' house for supper. This is great. You know, and then the next day I'm like, I hate this. I want to go see people.
Yeah, I miss the concerts. I'm a big music person. I miss going to record store day and shopping for records. Saved a ton of money, it turns out. I had no idea how much money I spent on records and concerts. Like, I got out of a ton of debt this last year. Woo! I was like, I got money. And I'm like, why do I have so much money? And then I was like, I'm not out spending it.
I missed out. I was going to be able to go. We were going to have a pagan festival, and I had a booth, and we were all excited. And then this whole thing hit. So I wasn't able to do that, but I did, like, we were able to start meeting online.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice, but I want to get to that spot where we can go do those things and be our hippie selves and run around the woods, and that's what I want.
Hug people. I know. I miss hugging people. I know it sounds so funny, but it's like, I've had besides my husband, no human contact.
Yep, I hear you. And then I'm not even a hugger. Like, normally I'm like, I'm like Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory. When somebody hugs me, I'm like, ah,
Don't touch.
use my body. But even like I'm that weird about it. And lately I'm like I want to hug. I want to hug my daughter. I hug my husband all the time now. Like it's just changed how I feel about physical touch.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a don't touch me person.
Yeah, that's that Scorpio rising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need the bubble around me at all times.
Yes. I really, there was some stupid meme but it was funny. They had like hula hoops and then made like this like hula hoop bubble thing so nobody could go near you. It was like a belt that your hula hoop was like attached to somehow. And this guy was like walking through Walmart with like that, like hurt. I'm like, I need that. Like,
oh yeah. Prior to 2020, I would have bought like 5 of those.
Yes.
Now yep. I'm like, oh, where's everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of count. It shows you, yeah, like things you took for granted or didn't appreciate. It's we definitely have a new sense of that.
Definitely. Okay, so where did we even leave off?
Oh, we're talking about like some Mercury retrogrades. We got another one May 29th, right after that eclipse.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Now that I'm like talking out loud and thinking about this out loud, eclipse on May 26th, and then a Mercury retrograde, May 29th.
That may not be fun.
Really, and that one's in Gemini, of course, but Mercury will be in Gemini. You really gonna have to watch the contracts, the communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's generally not a great idea to get into too many contracts during Mercury retrograde. It's not that you can't, but you have to be very careful.
Right.
I'd be even more careful
this year. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And just expect the technology like phones and those kind of things to mess up. Okay. Generally, that's a time where people aren't very articulate. So really got to watch what you say. You could rub people the wrong way or say something very offensive, not meaning to, those kind of things.
Okay. I'm writing.
You might just stay inside for sure that next May through June.
Mm-hmm. May through June June and July. I usually have a really shitty June. And then by the time the middle of July rolls around, I'm like, I can breathe again. It's every year. So I'm just kind of like prepare for it now. I'm like, okay, this may not be fun for the first little bit of summer. So it is what it is.
Isn't it good to have that heads up though? Like I was joking earlier about ignorance is bliss, but no, knowing astrology and kind of being able to brace yourself or just understand, oh, this stuff is all happening because of this. It's good to have that heads up.
Yep. And like 2 years ago, I didn't even pay attention to it. I just was like, why am I having a bad June again? Like so bad. And then last year I was like, okay, this might like not be the best. I'll be fine. I'll bump up my meditations and, keep myself busy and do more stuff outside if I can. And so like, and that like, I love to plan. Like if I can plan something or know what to expect, then I can go through whatever, but I have to know what is
going on. You have to know.
Yeah. So for me, astrology, like when you talk about this stuff, I'm like, yes, like tickles my like planning bug like so nice. Like, yes, not doing anything right there.
Yes. I even take it a step further. I try to do that with void of courses, which happens every couple days. And it can be minutes, it can be hours, it can be like a whole day long, but I actually try to not, I try to look at my calendar, keep track of it and not do anything important during those times because it will not come to fruition.
No, I don't do, like I have an app on my phone that shows me those and I don't do any kind of like spell work or ritual work during the void. I just don't, I use that time to like clean up or like clean up my altar spaces or do anything like that, but nothing like official.
And that's perfect because you won't get the results you want. So it's good for filing stuff away, cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to the grocery store. I'll forget half the items. I don't mail packages because they end up lost. I mean, it really is something to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. And when I first, like, I knew about that, during when you learn about like the lunar cycles and stuff, and I knew about the void of course moments, and I didn't really think about it. And in the last like 3 or 4 years, I'm like, that is something I really need to start paying attention
to when I do my spell work, because I'm very, like, I love to plan, but my spell work is super, super Gemini. I'm like, we'll be sitting on the couch watching TV. I'm like, oh, I should go do that. And then I just do it.
Yeah.
So I have started going, okay, so those days I'm not doing that instead. And it is like, if I do something on one of those, if I end up doing it anyway and like throwing caution to the wind, nothing will happen. Like
nothing will happen. And one thing I found interesting, I just kind of put this together recently. If I'm looking at my phone, I see a cool item pop up like for sale, or you want to buy something, or I get this idea to buy something, I always like, okay, before I check out, let me see, is it void of course? It is. Well, I don't want to buy anything on a void of course. It, it might come the wrong size. But now I find even if I wait till the moon moves in the next sign, it's not void, and I go ahead and order it, it still comes not as I expected. So the fact that you thought about it and wanted to do something during a void is something to think about too.
Oh yeah. Well, you're putting out the energy got sent out into the void by you thinking about it.
Yeah. And it's like saying, hey, this actually, you're not going to like this because when you thought about doing it,
yeah,
energy wasn't there for it.
No, I can totally see how that is a true thing.
Yep.
Okay, so May 26th, May 29th, put a helmet on and stay inside.
And then you get another Mercury retrograde, like September 27th, and that one's in Libra. So man, I mean, you think that's an indecisive energy alone, like with the Mercury retrograde. Don't just be patient if you can't make a decision. Just expect that.
Okay.
Now that's Libra. Libra's a very aesthetic sign. So you do want to watch actual shopping, no makeovers.
My moon is in Libra.
There you go.
This is why all of this is black and gold. And like my witch room had to be perfect because Libra.
Yeah, it's got to be aesthetically pleasing. So when it's in retrograde in the sign of Libra, you don't want to make any big changes.
I will have Brad take away my cards.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good time to shop. That is just a time to rest.
Yeah.
Take some bubble baths.
Do some self-care.
Okay. I know I have all my notes for these. I'm like, how do I get through these Mercury retrogrades? And
I'm going to put all of this, like, this is so serendipitous. Like, he just dropped off this planner thingy, the mailman. So all of this is going in my planner so that I can start planning for these crap times that I'm going to need to get through.
I love it. And of course, always look at your chart and see where these Mercury retrogrades hit. It just gives you added information.
Okay.
And you don't have to be an astrologer. Just see, hey, what sign is in or what house is this? Oh, it's hitting my 8th house. Okay, well, that affects other people's money or, yeah. So, or the 7th house, that's relationships. That might be where you have the most misunderstandings or, know, those kind of things. So it's always good to do that. So, I'm going from memory. I do the Gemini brain where I make some notes and then some I store in my mind. And then
yep, I do the same thing.
What else was I wanting to bring up? Oh, we do have a Venus retrograde happening at the end of 2021. We have some time to get ready for that. But December 19th, Venus goes retrograde for about a month.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where it affects, I think, relationships more than anything. It's a lot of reevaluating the relationships in your life.
So it doesn't always mean like romantic. It can mean like friendships and things.
All of the above.
Okay.
Yeah. And, Venus is also aesthetic. So that's also a time you don't do a whole lot of makeovers and physical changes to yourself. But mostly relationship stuff. Okay. So don't be too worried if your relationships seem awkward during that time or, Venus just isn't working well. It's in retrograde. That's what's going on.
Okay. I'm just like writing this big, be careful with a heart.
Be careful. But yeah, I would say if we're going to compare this year to last year, I do think it'll be quite different. I don't feel like it's going to be as dense because at the end of 2019, when I was looking at the astrology for 2020, I saw all the times Jupiter and Pluto were conjunct or together. And I remember saying there's going to be a lot of death. And I was really worried about it. But I did not see it in the form of pandemic and the numbers we had. I thought might have more celebrity deaths than normal, or
Right.
hear about more deaths.
Yeah. And we had a lot of celebrity deaths last year. And death in general was not okay.
Yeah. So, we still have a lot of deaths going on from the whole COVID situation hanging over, but that is going to improve. We're, in some ways this year will not be as dense as it was last year.
We'll have breathing time in between things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all breathing time. I think that all of us would have needed or would have liked to have that last year. Like, it felt like there was no time to sit back and breathe unless you locked yourself in your bathroom and just made yourself chill for a couple minutes.
I've done that.
Yeah, that's how the whole year felt. I was like, God, I just can't breathe, because my friends, everybody's going through their own personal struggles in 2020, and then you have the world crap and our country crap. So it always felt like as soon as I would deal with something personal, like one of my friends would be dealing with something, and you want to help them and put energy towards that, which is normal. Friends do that. But it was nobody got to break. They would get done with theirs, and then I would have one, and they'd have to help support me. So it just,
I know,
it's just weird. I'm ready. I just want to the idealistic person in me was like, why can't we all just love each other and do social distancing, and this thing will go away and the world will be a happy
share our money, let the billionaires share their money and help everybody. I was the same way.
Yes.
Yeah, if anybody has even the slightest of empathic abilities last year.
Yes. And it was I was watching, so I got addicted to TikTok lately. Don't sign up for it. It's I already have a hard time sleeping, and I'm like, I'll just look at the videos for a couple minutes, and 4 hours later.
Right.
There was somebody made a video, and his hair was all messed up, and his glasses were all crooked, and he had a cup of coffee, and all it said was empaths coming into 2021.
Yeah. So do some self-care this year. Heal.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
The thing. I know I'm terrible about taking my own advice. I'm constantly telling everybody, make sure you ground, make sure you do baths and do self-care. And I'm running outside with my coffee in my hand and doing a really quick grounding and coming in the house. And that was really all I did for self-care, which I know was bad.
It's something.
And I know it wasn't the greatest thing, but this year I've been okay, I've been doing yoga. So that, to me, that's my self-care to help me get some of this crappy energy out of my body every day, because I really don't like to work out.
I hate working out. I loathe it. No. Yeah, but I need to do something.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Well, instead of spending 2020 stuck in the house, working out and getting my diet straight, which I totally should have, I just ate my feelings. 2020 gave me 20 pounds. So my whole I'm okay, we're gonna get healthier this year. So I'm doing one thing at a time.
That's perfect. And you get a pass for last year, by the way.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm screw it. I ate my feelings, but so did everybody else. So whatever.
I ate my feeling. I did it before I got on this phone call today. So it's, it's whatever works for you. Really, when you get the transits that hit your 6th house, that's when you straighten up your diet. Because when Saturn was over my 6th house is when I went to vegetarianism 13 years ago. So you'll have your time. Maybe I'll have my time. I haven't been I'm trying to eat less because I have literal allergies to certain foods, and red meat happens to be one of them. And I live in beef country, so it's hard not to eat beef here. But I have been taking that out of my diet, and my gut feels so much better. Just that one little change. Happy gut. That's always rewarding. Oh my God, yes. That and so self-care. Yes, menopause hits, and then everything gets all wonky. So I'm just rolling with it. Just roll with it. With Saturn being in a home sign of Aquarius, and it was in the home sign of Capricorn last couple of years. This is all about boundaries too, which is huge for self-care. Boundaries. Say no if you want to say no to someone, And okay. That really, so every time I do a reading for somebody, the last month, that is always part of their theme when I'm drawing cards for them, is some kind of
reminder of putting up personal boundaries with loved ones, even in your own magical workings. Make sure you're putting up boundaries, like energetic ones. It's been a really big theme. I didn't even think about the astrological part of it.
Yeah, it's like that's been going on the last couple of years, and we're getting another couple of years of it in the next sign, since it rules both those signs back to back. And it's like, okay, you've had some lessons, now you're getting a little tested.
All right.
Is drilling it into us.
Okay, so first quarter, second quarter, what's that gonna, so like June, let's say like April to July, we have the retrograde, and then the lunar eclipse retrograde. Do you have anything in June and July?
Let me see if I wrote anything in my notes. I mean, we have the ingresses where planets move to signs, which happens every year. That's kind of normal. As far as anything that stands out, those eclipses do last. It's not just the day it happens. They're about a 6-month phase. So that there's some carryover there. When I look at the whole year, I'm like, okay, if we can get through like the first half, the last half is going to be so much more smoother.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So I would say that's third quarter, July, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when you're going to feel things getting a little lighter, even though, keep in mind, you're going to have a lot of worldly events type things.
Right. Okay.
In our individual lives, I feel like that's when things get better. I think we're going to be getting out more. I think after May, socially things will start opening up.
Oh, I hope.
Personal prediction, but
man, I hope that's true. Like concerts, like we're empty nesters. This was our first empty nest, year last year. Right. We were like, we are gonna go do concerts. We were like, summer hits, Maddie moves out. We're gonna go do concerts. We're gonna like go places, do whatever we want. And then we didn't get to do any of that. So we're itching to do that this year.
Me too. I was gonna go to New York for my birthday.
Oh man.
So I was like, maybe this year, but I'm like, oh, it's still kind of on that borderline. I may have to, I feel safer probably doing it next year. But yeah, I hear you. It's like,
I just want to go out.
It'll happen. We're almost there.
Perfect. All right, hermits unite. We can do this.
And then it's like, we have to learn to be social again.
Oh my God, I know. So I already have kind of like weird social anxiety. So I can't imagine. I'm going to be an annoying, chatty Gemini. The first interaction I have with my like group of friends, I'm just gonna send them an apology letter to begin with. Like, I am so sorry.
Yeah, or wear a shirt. Like, I'm socially awkward as it is. I can't even imagine what it's gonna be when I'm back in society again.
We all are gonna have to relearn all that, even the social butterflies. It's gonna be weird, but good.
But good. We'll get there. It'll be okay.
Yes. So this year, as far as, is this a good, so if it's going to be crappy with the economy, or possibly it might be a good year to say,
I'd say ups and downs.
Yeah. So a lot of ups and downs. So maybe be conservative with your spending and planning.
Yes. Which will be hard if the doors open up and we're allowed to go shopping again, but, cause we're going to want to make up for lost times. But I do keep, when I started one of my self-care, I started pulling cards for myself. Isn't that funny? I was great about doing it for other people. I didn't never do it for me really. And so this year I'm like doing like every day that financial conservative card comes up, like, watch what you're spending your money on, be conservative. So yes, I think there's validation there.
Okay. Trying to think of anything else. So what, I know you can't predict it, but what do you like? I know that on all the social media apps that I'm on, it's January 19th. There's like, they're planning, there's rumors and people talking about having something horrible, like, yes, like what happened earlier on the 19th. Like, is there anything planetary wise going that would,
the day before inauguration?
Yeah, I'm like, when you flip through like Twitter and TikTok and even Instagram and things like that, it's, you can see that they're like planning, they're like January 19th, that it, is what certain people are saying. So,
well, let's pull the chart right now.
Okay.
So the 19th, around a certain time, or are they saying the 19th?
They're just saying the 19th.
Let's do a noon time. Let's see. I have this wonderful astrology software now, which was one of these things that came out in 2020.
Yay.
I've now got really great software. I can pull charts so quickly. Let's get to
so
around noon.
cool. You like
see what's going on that day.
There's a lot. Oh no.
Well,
shit.
The sun is 29 degrees that day, which that happens every month. You know, sun has to hit 29 before it goes into the next, but that is an intense degree. Yeah. We have it conjunct with Pluto, which is a little firing up. That is a lot of,
yeah.
You know, Pluto always comes into play when you see violence or anger or uprising. You got Jupiter and Saturn conjunct that day together in Aquarius. Now, okay, yeah. So Saturn is squaring Mars and Uranus. That is a little concerning. It doesn't mean necessarily anything bad's going to happen, but it does show me. Now, Mars and Taurus, that is like a fall, because Mars is at home in Aries and Scorpio, and Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. So it's not working well in that sign.
Right.
It's not necessarily like an Aries thing where it's fired up, but it's not, people may not have tempers under control well, or, you know, displaying that kind of aggression in the best way.
Super. So
and the moon's in Aries that day.
Yeah, that's what I was like, yeah. I wondered if that would be, so it would be a good time for everyone to stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home, take a bath, do some self-care, especially.
Listen, we got to get through this month with all the political stuff going on.
Yep.
What happened Wednesday is not necessarily over. That may have been like the intense moment burst we saw, but there's still some carryover.
Yep. I feel for every empath out there.
I do too. It's rough, but
everybody on that day or coming up to that, building up to the 19th, ground yourself, do the things, do the mundane things to, you know, stay off the internet.
It's good to try to avoid some of that, and you can.
Yes. I'm terrible.
Overall, just, you know, people are just divided right now.
They are,
and it's going to have to work its way out, and that's what you're seeing.
For me, I got I'll get obsessed and then watch the news obsessively because I want to know everything that's happening, and because I don't know, I need all the information all the time because that's just who I am.
Me too.
But this time I'm like, you know what? Like I finally turned it off because at one point I was just bawling because also I'm dramatic as shit. So
honestly, I teared up the other day seeing what I saw, and I'm a little emotionally dry. It was intense.
I was like bawling and like, oh my God. And this time I'm like, okay, if they're doing something the 19th and the 20th, I am just going to pop in and just see, and then make myself put my damn phone down. I'm going to try to go outside and ride my horse that day. And just, it is what it is. Like me staring at the news, is it going to change the news?
It's not going to change. Unfortunately, Mars and Uranus being conjunct in the same degree. That's the most unpredictable energy I think you can get. And that's about the best I can.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I wondered. Like I seeing this all over the internet and I'm like, oh my God, please let there not be something planetary wise that lines up with this intention. And it seems like it does. I hope that it doesn't happen. I really do. I nobody else needs to die or get traumatized or anything like that. It just,
you know, and the best thing I can say, like, don't panic. Because the other day on Wednesday, technically by degree, these were conjunct within 7 degrees. I mean, it could just be a little carryover, or it could be maybe some, I don't know, but it's not, that's what I'm trying to say. It's definitely not something we need to be super worried or panicked about. You just be cautious and do what's best for you.
Absolutely. And then
out of your control.
I think that I think that this coolest thing about astrology is like, okay, so we know the planets are all lined up to support some bad shit if that's what people decide
to reflect.
Reflect.
And it's very fluid.
Yeah.
It doesn't always mean doom and gloom.
Right.
It could represent just a lot of verbal disruption, people
Right.
voicing things. It's
right. I like that astrology can show us that, because then you can be prepared. You're like, okay, I don't have to obsess over it, but if I lived in that area and I had planned on like traveling that day and going into the city, I'd be like, you know what? Today maybe I'll stay the hell home. or any place that, you know, even here, I probably won't go anywhere. I'll play with my horses and do some self-care and put out some good juju, make some prayers for peace.
Yeah. Being in Taurus, I know I'm still chewing on this, but being in Taurus, that could be a day you see the stock market dip or rise.
Yeah.
Because Taurus is money.
That's true. And I think normally, especially with transition of power like this, I think that's kind of normal with the stock market.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could just see some dramatic stuff there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm not going to obsess over it. I'm just going to flow with it. That is my because I am obsessive. So that's like part of my lessons from last year is don't obsess over it. You cannot change the pandemic with you obsessing over it.
You can't change it. A lot of it's out of we can only do what we can do ourselves. And there you go.
Yep.
It'll be all right.
Yep. We can only, my therapist likes, you can't change how other people are reacting to it. You can only change how you react to everything.
That's right. And if we all do that,
right? How simple? Like, it's simple, but it's not. It's not like the righteous, like Karen in me wants to like, you know, be rageful and dump on society for everything. And I have to catch myself and like, you being a Karen is not going to change their mind about anything. So I've been just working on shutting my hole.
You know, and as Geminis, we struggle with that. I love to voice what I'm feeling. I like to express my thoughts, and I really am trying to. Am I succeeding? Maybe not, but
I'm probably not either. I have like tried to find this middle ground. Like I like the need to say what I feel is so strong I can't help it. But I have like tried to find some kind of middle ground where I can express how I feel without trying to make somebody else feel bad if they don't feel this way or if they disagree with me. So that's like been my struggle, is like finding that middle ground where I'm not pissing off everybody, but I can still, you know, clear that throat chakra if I need to.
Right. Hey, when you figure that out, you let me know. I need some.
I fail often. I fail quite often. But I'm trying. That's one thing that I think I'm seeing a lot of people in my closer circle do the same thing. They're like, in their public voice and like posting on Facebook or any other social media, they're trying to like say how they feel without being inflammatory to others. And sometimes we fail, sometimes we hit the nail on the head, but right. I don't think that anybody should be held to a standard to be perfect. I think we all need to, you know, yell fuck every once in a while and clear out the cobwebs of that.
And I do. You know, it'd be helpful if everyone could just post their astrological charts, then we'll know, oh, they're more expressive than this person. We'll give them a little bit of a pass.
Yes. Yes. I appreciate all this. Like, this is so, like, seriously, this is going straight into this.
Good. And as things pop up over time, I'll give you guys a heads up, post about it, and you can add it to your calendar. So there's more astrology. I would say those are some of the highlights.
Main stuff. Okay. Well, that's good news though, because last year literally was just all shit. Like, there wasn't a lot of good news that came out of last year. Not really at all. That in my personal life, there wasn't, you know, a ton of it. But it seems like this, like, we have some hope. This, I feel like you gave us like that light at the end of the tunnel. I can see it. Clear the hell down there, but I can see it.
Yes, so, we're finding our way to the light. That's how I'll phrase this year. Yes.
Yeah, we're finding our way there. At least we can freaking see it. Like last year, it felt like we were stuck in a, you know, black hole.
It's the dawn. It's the dawn after a crazy night. Yes.
And I know that I don't like to pull cards for me either. But I did. I pulled cards for me on the 1st. just to see how this year, like personally, how I felt, like my lessons, what am I going to have to learn this year? And that was one of the things, is like, stop being so impatient. Just it'll happen. Like you're like, last year I just wanted things freaking fixed. I'm like, why can't this fixed right now? I want this whole thing done. And I butted heads with my own self because I wanted to rush everything. So this year it's more about opening up and letting things flow.
Let it be. Words of wisdom.
Yes. I'm like, I'm trying. I am trying, and I'm nurturing. Like, I did look at certain parts of my sign or my natal chart and decide what things would best nurture me this year and what I want to do with the year. So I did look at that and trying to plan some stuff, but I, like you said, try to flow with it.
Go with it. It's gonna be all right.
Yes. It'll be good. It'll be fun.
Some days are easier than others, but we got this.
Yes, we got it. Well, did you have any other words of wisdom about this year?
I want to say congratulations. We all made it to 2021. And
absolutely.
I do think there'll be some highlights, some good stuff this year as well. And I look forward to that.
Same. We need some good news.
Yeah,
it's
coming.
We do. Also, I think that I'm a realist. Like, if it looks like shit, it's shit. But I have realized that I've changed a little bit because of last year. Like, I see the good in things a little easier because of all the crap. I think, like, I'll look at a situation like in my own life. I'm like, well, that really sucks. It's just crap. But I can take a pause now and go, okay, well, there is this one thing that came out of it. And like, that's not me pre-2020, be like, well, this is
right.
It's shit. It's whatever. And I'll move on. But so there were some blessings that came out of.
We saw some silver linings for sure. And it's easier to see that with what we went through.
Absolutely. Sure. Well, what's your website?
brandyburrowastrology.com.
Okay.
And you can find me on Facebook as well.
That's true. Do you have Instagram? You do have Instagram.
I kind of do. Okay, so like my kids say I'm old. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it and get that in my routine. I was actually researching it last night, but I do technically have one, and I hope to be on there more this year.
Yay! Well, I hope you are too. You guys have a podcast still, right?
Yes. We call it the AO. I'm trying to do the initials. The Astrologer, the Omnist, and the Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. I always call it the long form, but yes.
Yes.
And that's on Facebook as well. There's a page. Find us there. Me, Rena, and Shelly get together and bullshit and talk, and it's just a good fun time.
I'm so behind on all of my podcasts that I listen to. Like, every one of them, I've got like, I think I stopped listening to them, like podcasts in general, when I like withdrew. So like, I have like my Spotify thing is like, it'll pop up even new episode of whatever. I'm like, I'm so far behind. That's not even close to where I need to start.
From 100 episodes ago. I know.
Yeah, I'm way behind. I need to catch up.
It's all right.
Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's always fun.
Yes, and we're all forewarned now.
Yes, heads up. And don't worry, I'll keep you briefed as we go.
Perfect.
And I do post a blog on my website when like I feel really strongly about, okay, this is happening, let's talk about it. So yeah, just hop on the website every now and then. You'll see some updates too.
Okay, cool.
All right, you guys, you have been forewarned. If you would like to book an astrology reading with Brandy, go to brandyburrowastrology.com, or you can check her out on Facebook at the same, Brandy Burrow Astrology and Tarot. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I really, really did. I cannot wait to see. I mean, honestly, this is like, it's like reality TV. You cannot look away. So I'm trying my best, and I advise everybody to try to put down your phones and not cling to social media so much. It really, really has helped my mental health, just putting it down and going, okay, I don't need to know all the things all the time, right? I can go outside, I can put my phone down, stick it on silent, and read a book. I'm trying to read books. But anyway, my point is, let's embrace some balance and try to flow through this year's moments as they come. I'm really trying to go in a direction of, okay, this is what the energy looks like this month, this year, this day, whatever, and this is how I'm going to flow with it. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to ground myself. I'm going to try to do self-care, although I'm very bad about remembering. I'm going to take my damn meds because honestly, I forget to take my freaking depression pills, and that really affects how I, my ability to flow with things. So if you have any kind of medications, set an alarm, set 2 alarms. I literally have 3 alarms set so that I take my stinking meds. So anyway, I wish the best for you all for 2021. If you have any questions about what we have went over today, please get a hold of Brandy. She is going to be the one that's going to be able to answer your questions the best. And that's all I got. So instead, I can't even talk today. So, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I'm giggling. Until next time, stay witchy. Bye-bye.